Hey everyone, welcome to Vlogmas Day 12. Today I was working at my bonsai job, which I do once or twice a month. So today I worked on about 20 bonsai, mostly just repotting, taking young trees and putting them into pots. Rather than like going from pot to pot, it was, making new bonsai. I don't think I worked on any older ones, so yeah, it was all about finding the front of the tree, setting up the pot with all the wire, mesh, drainage pebbles, soil, getting the tree set up so that the front is right. A little bit of tip pruning. I didn't do too much styling today. And getting it stable in the pot. There were a few that I decorated. I didn't get the time, like it was really busy. I didn't get the time to take many photos to show you what I did, but I did get 3 photos. The first photo is, the background, you can see like other stuff in the background, so it's kind of hard to see the trees themselves when like green leaves, green background, not a good mix. But for the next 2 photos, I did like figure, maybe that's not the best way. So while they were still on my workbench, I took photos of them and I will show them to you now. Yeah, so those were some of the ones where I feel like I had a little bit more creative license with the placement of the rocks and the mondo grass. I didn't do the styling for those bonsais though. The ones that were wired up were already wired up, and I think the main thing maybe I did was just make sure that the front of the trees were right. And yeah, I don't think I tip pruned those ones actually. They were pretty alright, and they'll be going on sale fairly soon. Before I did that though, I did a whole bunch that went straight to sale. That was mainly the money trees, and I think there was one more. Oh no, we didn't send that one out. Yeah, one of the bonsai that I worked on, it had a really dense root ball at the top, and then down the bottom there wasn't a whole lot, but in that soil I found more ants. But fortunately this wasn't a full-on ant colony. It was mostly just queens with wings. These were definitely queens. I was like, ooh, they're a lot bigger than your regular ants, and they were attended by regular ants. So I have a feeling that those ants just like flew in and they were about to set up shop in the bottom of this pot. It was just the plastic pot, and then I was converting it into a bonsai pot after that. But yeah, I had to clean out those ants again. I'm tired of ants, but my ant farm's going well. I'll show you that another day because I'm too tired. But yeah, so I think that's the most complicated thing I had to deal with, is just like, oh no, ants, and making sure they weren't inside the rest of the root system in that plant. What else? I don't know. There was a fig that had, I think it was pink scale, or I don't know, the large scale bugs on it. But they were actually already dead, so that was fine, because my boss had sprayed it like a week ago or something. Yeah, although he had more trouble with bonsai he was working on. So he was doing this really big fig, one of the customers' trees, and yeah, the root system was a bit underdeveloped, so that was a bit difficult. Whether or not it has some kind of disease, you have to look for those things. And then there was another one which was a tree that was going for sale, but it wasn't doing so great, and it had gotten really root bound in this pot, and apparently it had only been repotted 3 months ago, which doesn't seem right because it was so root bound. So I don't know if there was some mistake in that. But yeah, my boss found, what were they, mealy bugs. So I'm learning about all the little bugs. I'm not sure how good I'm going to be at recognizing them all, but I am slowly getting the gist. Yeah, no, it had, I think it was mealybugs he was talking about, and, how do you get rid of those? And then that one, it was, that was a Chinese jade semi-cascade, so, it's got the trunk and then it goes sort of that way, and it was in this pot that was more of a square-shaped sort of tall pot, and it just wasn't looking right. Like, it felt a bit crowded and so on, so he ended up converting it into a longer pot, still a bit deep enough for the root system, but spread that way rather than that way. And I think once that one's recovered, it's going to look really nice. But yeah, it was just not looking too good today. So yeah, Oh, what else? I don't even remember if there was anything else significant that I worked on because I was just like working on all these trees. I think the ones where I did the rocks and the mondo grass took me a bit longer because you're trying to figure out what positioning will work really nicely with that. And you know, I've not worked in those long oval pots before. So that was interesting, and then yeah, finding which rock works with the tree, where to place it, where to place the mondo grass. I think that I enjoyed. It just was more time consuming. And then yeah, I just did other ones that were simple repottings. Oh, actually, one thing I did notice today is a surprising number of the trees had this really lopsided root system. So once I cleared out the roots, often there was a lot of trunk on those Chinese jades in particular. There was a lot of trunk below the soil before the root system started, so that was a surprise to me, and the trees ended up being much taller than I expected. But yeah, for some of the Chinese jade, and I think there was one other tree, for some of them, once you look down the root system underneath, like if this is the trunk, some of them had like root systems that were like only on one side, and so when you're trying to wire that into the pot, they kind of wobble a bit. For those ones, I ended up using 2 seatbelt wires instead of the usual one. And yeah, like I got it to work, but there was maybe one that seemed a little bit unstable, so I put a little rock in there just to sort of hopefully stabilize it a little bit, but it's such a small rock that I think it's probably not doing very much, and so whether or not that tree stabilizes as the root system grows probably depend on my seatbelt technique and also like the way that I've pushed the soil underneath it and tried to pack it in a little bit more. Yeah, and then there are a few that seemed like they needed to be slanted for the front of the tree to work, and that was a little bit difficult as well because then the root system, you know, trying to hold up this slanted tree. I don't think they would have really stood up well if I did them straight though, so just because there was definitely one where it needed to slope like this to look good, but the root system was also on that side, and I thought, oh well, it sort of evens it out, but no, it just wanted to tilt completely over. So yeah, double seatbelt kind of technique. Some of the pots that I used were, they only had 1 drainage hole, so you had to do this technique where instead of putting, usually in a bonsai pot you have 2 drainage holes, and then you can run a wire under the pot and then out the sides, and then that's how you do the seatbelt wire. When you've only got 1 hole, ask me to demonstrate it if you want, but when you've only got 1 hole, what you do is you get a thicker bit of wire underneath, and then you get the seatbelt wire to go under through the hole, around that a couple of times and back out, and that's how you get it. And the way that you place it next to the mesh, the wire holding the mesh in, you've got to like do it at a diagonal, I think, and I think that's to sort of stop things warping a bit. It's a little bit hard to explain without demonstrating, but yeah, it's already a little bit too late for me to go out and grab all my own supplies and demonstrate that. And yeah, honestly, today was so busy, I didn't have time to film anything, and didn't have time to take many photos. I think because of the Christmas period, people are buying bonsai for you know, friends, relatives, presents, whatever. They're buying them as presents, so we needed to make a lot of bonsai that are ready to sell or almost ready to sell. There's about 13 up the back still waiting, and then there were 5 that we put on sale. 1 that was in the little cart still waiting for a few more things to happen. Yeah, but getting all the bonsai ready so that they can go out onto the shelves, because there were a lot of gaps on the shelves, so business appears to be good. I don't really know because I'm not there that often and I don't deal with customers, but my boss was in and out of the back area where I work, constantly getting phone calls and having customers come in, so yeah, it seemed pretty busy, and that's why he needed me there to keep making these things, just like the basic bonsai. I think there are a lot of people who want basic bonsai so that, you know, maybe they can do a little bit of trimming themselves. They run classes there, so I guess you get a lot of enthusiasts through. That's what I used to do, although once I started making my own bonsai, I would buy the stock plant rather than the young bonsai, and make my own. Yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned, I'm actually working for my old teachers, and my sensei was there today. She's adorable. She's this Japanese lady, and yeah, she's really cute. And her husband, and then yeah, my boss is their kid, and they also had the dog. Haven't seen the dog in a while, and oh my gosh, the poor dog had to go to the vet because of the sore tail, and turns out like it was broken or dislocated, and bad enough that half the tail had to be amputated. And when she came back from the vet, oh my god, poor puppy. But she's like healthy now. She just needs to be on antibiotics and recover from that. Side tangent about puppies. But yeah, no, I enjoy this job. And yeah, it was good that it was busy. Towards the end, I really started to pick up the pace because I was doing more of the simple repottings instead of the ones where I've got to actually design with the rocks and all that kind of stuff. Didn't do any wiring though. I did take wire off one tree because, you know, it was time to take it off before it starts cutting into the wood. What else is there to say about my day? Busy, good. I like that it's 9 to 5, so I get like the full day shift in one go, and that's my week, or my month. I'm actually working again next week, but so yay, 2 shifts in 1 month. I would like more shifts, but it depends on how much work they need done, and there's like another guy who works there, and I think I'm essentially picking up his shifts. So yeah, because like he's at uni, and I think like he used to do all the shifts, and now with uni things it's a little bit harder for him to do it, so I'm filling in the other ones. And but yeah, no, it's good. My boss is pretty chill, and because I'm at the back area all the time, I don't have to stress about, like, you know, with retail and you've always got customers. No, this is a really chill kind of job, and we can listen to metal. It wasn't like rah-rah metal, it was more symphonic metal. And then, oh, what, Amaranth came on, you know, they're those like pop fusion kind of like 3 singers. One's a pop singer, the chick. I think the guy is a rock singer, and then they have a guy who's a growler. Interesting music that is. So yeah, it's good being able to work with the music and just like do that all day, and that's my job. And I'm getting so much practice with bonsai, and learning more about the little pests and things and how to treat them. I mean, it's going to take me a while to remember which thing to do for which problem, because yeah, there's a few different ones, and then like recognizing them, that's going to be harder for me. But no, I'm getting practice with the repotting is good, because just like some revision for my eye to see which is the front of the tree. That's been really good practice. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all for the day. Like it rained a bit, but you know, we just sort of shift where we're working. So I started the day in the shop area rather than out the back, and then there was a period where it wasn't raining, so I moved to the back, and then it started raining again, so I got a raincoat and just stayed there pretty much, because the rain was kind of light. It was just on and off, and I don't mind getting a little bit wet. Yeah, so that was my day. Anything else? Don't think so. So yeah, I didn't have to wear sun cream today, which was good because it was cloudy. Sun cream is awful, it feels gross. But I still had a shower, yes. After bonsai work is the other time that I will have a shower other than Sunday's cleaning day. My mum's like, yeah, you should work Wednesdays all the time, because then you get a shower in the middle of the week as well, and it's like exactly in the middle. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Mum, I get the message. But yes, I've already had a shower. My hair is in post-shower, post-blow-dry mode. I probably smell nicer than I usually do. Yeah, so Mum's happy, especially we're thinking of going to lunch tomorrow, although where we go is a big question, because if we drive anywhere and it's Christmas shopping traffic, bit of a gamble whether we can park, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so whatever. I smell nice, so if we go out tomorrow, she'll be happier to hang out with me. Yeah, but I really do need showers after bonsai work because, like, I worked on 20 bonsai or around about that number, and when you're working on that for so long and doing it, like, efficiently and, you know, I had to go out and get more soil for the wheelbarrow, and I'm tiny, so, like, oh, I've got to, like, lift weights, but I did it and, you know, got the big shovel and into the big pile of soil and into the, you know, I'm so tiny. This is embarrassing, isn't it? Embarrassing, but alas, I am female, so it's a little bit harder for me to put on muscles, and I'm also like the small kind of female, so good luck to me. But I just, if I want to get something done and I'm not strong enough, I generally find a way just using my brain, which it takes longer, but I still get things done. Yeah, no, I probably should lift weights so that I can get better at that wheelbarrow, but hey, I didn't tip it over or anything. I got back to our little shed up the back, and it was good. Didn't get wet in the rain because I put the wooden cover back over it. Yeah, anyway, like, the point being, shoveling soil and then repotting so many bonsai, and I have gloves, but it gets a little bit wet through the gloves, but I'm still, like, soil flying everywhere as I'm putting it in the pot. And so when I'm at bonsai work, I literally get dirty with, like, actual dirt. So then I need to have a shower. Usually I feel like I need to have a shower just because of sun cream being gross, but even today without sun cream, I was like, yeah, no, I'm covered in dirt. Everything I touch ends up with dirt because I've just been using soil all day. When I work on my own bonsai, though, I don't feel the need to have a shower. I think just because when I'm doing my own bonsai, I tend to do one at a time and do a lot of work on it. So other than repotting, I'll also do pruning and wiring, depending on whether or not I think the plant can handle it. I probably push my plants more than I should, and if my boss or my sensei, actually my boss also was one of my sensei, but just to make things easier, let's call sensei the lady, and the boss is like the guy I'm actually working with at the moment. Yeah, so wow, what was I talking about then? Yeah, I think my sensei and my boss would both look at some of the things that I'm doing and be like, yeah, maybe you pushed that plant a little too much, but because it's my own plant, I don't mind if like, you know, it looks a bit unhealthy. I will deal with it when it happens and learn from the experience. But when I'm at bonsai work, you know, I do things according to what they want. But no, so all these little tangents confuse my little brain about what I was trying to talk about. When I'm working on my own plants, I tend to work on one at a time for a very long time, and so if I'm lucky, I can get 3 done in a day, but usually only 1 at the moment. And so I don't get as much dirt all over me, and I'm also a little bit cleaner about how I do things, because, like, it's not a job, it's just me casually doing things at home. My setup at home, I'm trying to keep things clean because this is like my parents' space and I don't want them to get upset with me making things too dirty. So yeah, I think when I'm doing my own stuff, I don't really need to have a shower because it's not that much. And I think I have picked a scab a little bit too much and I should go tend to that. So we will end this video blog here. I was actually hoping in the next couple of days to do that, like finally do that update on my bonsai. Stop picking that scab, me. I'll just put my arm over there so that I don't pick at that scab. Yeah, no, I was thinking of finally doing that update on what my bonsai look like now because I've done a whole lot of work on them, but turns out we're expecting a whole bunch of rain and storms in Sydney again, and unlike at bonsai work, I don't really have a good sheltered space to work on bonsai with all the dirt and stuff, and lighting will be an issue and all that. So I'm just going to have to wait for the weather to get better before I do an update. And then, of course, when the weather is better, I'm going to be tempted to work on the bonsai instead of doing a video for you guys. I suppose I could live stream me working on the bonsai, but it depends how long this battery on my phone can last, I guess. Anyway, so those are some bonsai related things, and I better go fix this scab on my arm that I have picked a little bit too much while I've been distracted making videos. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye! Everywhere I go